Welcome back, ARK players, to a brand new video. Now today we have a video to react to from Snail Games, and apparently there's a bit of an ARK 2 update in here, which is going to be an interesting one, because the last update we had on ARK 2 was that we were told that ARK 2 is not going to be coming out any earlier than early 2027. Next year, 2026, is going to be solely ARK Survival Ascended focus on getting Genesis Part 1 out, on getting some of the other maps out like Fjordur, Crystal Isles, and Lost Island. So that's their sole sort of focus after the launch of Lost Colony in December, and then early 2027 is the current release date, even though it's not being officially like put on the Steam page and stuff. I don't know if it's been put on the Steam page yet or not, but it was confirmed by Jeremy in a recent interview that it's not going to be any earlier than 2027. So if you guys do enjoy today's video, as always, drop a like and subscribe. It really does support me. And we're going to get straight in with this. Now, we're not going to watch the full 24-minute video like from start to end, because there'll be stuff in here that really doesn't matter to do with ARK. We're just going to skip. We're going to watch some bits, get straight just to the ARK bits and see what they talk about, because there's also some really interesting information about the entire franchise. So let's get in with the video. Right, so here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am pleased to introduce the management of Snail Holdings. The stock symbol is SNAL. Snail is a digital entertainment developer of games and video content, and recently has been developing interest in the hot area of stablecoin. Snail is covered.
So stablecoin is something, I think they're doing their own coin, like crypto, something like that. I mean, I have no clue about that sort of stuff. It's something that I've never really shown a massive interest into, because I don't know. I know people do really well with it, but it's just not my sort of thing. But if you guys get involved with it, let me know. But I don't know why they need to go into that kind of stuff when we want someone to be solely focusing on making ARK the best game it can possibly be. And I've said for so many years, I don't think we've been in the right hands with Studio Wildcard. I really believe we are, but with the other side,
Noble with an outperform rating and a $3.50 price target. And I encourage you to take a look at our research on the company on channelcheck.com. And with us today are Heidi Chow, who is the Chief Financial Officer, and Peter Lin, the FP&A Senior Manager of Snail. As a reminder, if you have questions, please type those in your chat box and I will get.
Snail. And what do we do? Snail is a publicly traded company on NASDAQ with ticker SNAL since November of 2022. Born to Dream has always been our slogan. A dream to provide high-quality interactive entertainment experiences to our global audiences. We started Snail Games back in 2009. Today, we are a global game developer and publisher with more than 15 years of track record.
do you know what? I really struggle to listen to this when, because the thing is, I am so grateful to Snail in one thing. One thing I'm massively grateful to, and that is, if it wasn't for Snail Games, Studio Wildcard and ARK Survival Ascended, ARK Survival Evolved probably never would have existed still to this day. And the reason why is, back in the beginning of the ARK days, Studio Wildcard had a legal case with another, I can't remember what it was, but, and you know, that doesn't matter, and they lost it, which meant I think they lost loads of money. And Snail obviously saw an opportunity here, and they went in and invested, and you know, ARK is what ARK is today. But I do find it very tough when, you know, they have things like Born to Dream and stuff, and maybe that was true within ARK at the beginning, because you see where ARK is to this day. No matter how much people say ARK is dead, and however they make the wrong decisions with the game, because it's just so addictive, it just will always be around, and you know, and while the gaming industry is alive, because it generates decent revenue, and that's obviously why Snail are here. But unfortunately, Snail, you know, there's nothing wrong with looking for ways to constantly build your business, and you know, that's what Snail do. But it's never in the, for me personally, and I know so many people, it's never been to, you know, I don't even think many of them really know much about ARK, and that's what makes it really hard. And I'm glad we got Studio Wildcard that's so passionate about the game.
And more importantly, we are the leader of a sandbox survival genre with ARK. So, what have we done over the past 15 years?
So it looks like they did some MMOs in the early days, and then that was ASE. Dark and Light had so much potential, and literally didn't it just get abandoned? And it was the same as Atlas, had so much potential, and on launch it was embarrassingly bad. But again, had so much potential to be something popular, and sadly, Atlas did at the sort of time feel like it was like a DLC for Evolve, and it just never got the love. PixARK still around these days. I doubt it makes much money, but yeah. And I think Bellwright was a pretty good launch. And then obviously they had ASA and ARK 2 coming up.
We leverage our MMO expertise to become one of the leaders in the sandbox survival genre. Snail Games USA was incorporated in 2009 and published Age of Wushu, Tai Chi Panda in the United States. In 2015, ARK Survival Evolved was early release, and Snail Games USA licensed the game from 2016. Ever since
So that was what we mentioned earlier, where like they in 2016 was when they had to come in and
have
help
been the sandbox survival genre throughout the years. And we published Dark and Light, Atlas, which is a pirate game, Fear the Night, PixARK, Outlaw, and also in late 2023, we published the remake of original ARK using Unreal 5 engine called ARK Survival Ascended. The company.
Right, okay, so that's all we really need to hear of that kind of stuff. Obviously, this is some financial results and stuff and how they've done, and I think they actually go on to some more stuff that we want to hear about involving ARK, rather than, just kind of, okay, 100, what's this? Leading company in an attractive growth industry, 100 million plus installs in the ARK franchise, 10 years of constant ARK content releases and player engagement. It's pretty not really anything we need to hear there. And then they go on to a growth engine for ARK, and they go on to talk about the actual sort of gaming industry as a whole. So they're saying global players is 3.8 billion with 90.5 million ARK players. And the thing is, that could be so much more. And they always, whenever they do these things, I always think to myself, they're always talking about growing, but they never make the right decisions for the game to make it grow more than that. ARK could have been something, it's already been massive, but it could have been something so special, and even more special than it is. And they don't follow trends very well. They don't, I've never understood who sort of directed the kind of stuff. Like, even when Battle Royale came out, in the early days, Survivor of the Fittest was one of the most popular versions of it out there. And at that peak where Battle Royale was so popular, they could have really cashed in on like Survival of the Fittest, because it was actually a really good Battle Royale. They didn't want to put time into that. And again, you have to follow trends if you want to grow in this industry. And luckily for Snail and for Studio Wildcard, ARK kind of is its own, dominates the survival genre, and it's going to take something insanely massive to ever take it off the top. June Awakening came out, and sadly it has died off a bit. And it's a really hard job to take something so special like ARK off the top, especially because everyone loves dinosaurs. So they've obviously gone on to talk about the journey of ARK so far, a sandbox survival powerhouse. They've generated over 950 million gross revenue from ARK, 100+ million base game and DLC installs, 4.1 billion Steam playtime hours, and a 1.1 million peak Steam users or daily active users. And then, absolutely crazy numbers there. But it's been more community-based for me. The community is the reason ARK has been this popular for so long. Now, of course, fantastic DLCs that, have, the fantastic DLCs that Studio Wildcard have created, which have been so popular to this day, absolutely great work from them. But really, one of the biggest reasons that ARK has lived on how long it has been the community like not just the communities that are built within the game, because that's like one massive thing. We got the LoadedCrysis cluster, and there's loads of others out there, that have their own communities within it and make it and make their own lives and role plays and whatever in the game. But it's the modders that have literally managed to keep the game exciting from just being vanilla ARK. So when I see all of this stuff and, and they say, oh, this is what we've done, I'm a bit like, no, this is very, very, very community based there. And here's the ARK gamer breakdown. And, yes, we are a group of very engaged gamers. But as you can see here, this is like the daily average player count. And this, I'm guessing, is the end of ASE and around Genesis Part 2, when we had so many people playing the game. It was absolutely crazy because Genesis Part 2 was so popular. And then obviously there was a bit of a peak. But when you're releasing a new game, right, like such as ASA, you should expect this to be higher than that, just because it's a new game. So that kind of thing has never gone very well, and that's why ASA to this day is slowly getting more popular than ASE, but it's really struggled. Right, okay. I mean, this kind of information isn't that exciting, is it really? It's stuff we already know. Let's have a little listen to this bit. This bit might be quite interesting.
Revenue side of things, how in our user engagement. I want to wrap all that up for you in this quarterly chart. What you're seeing here is the quarterly revenue from Q3 of 2023 to Q2 of 2025. And whenever there's an ARK related release, be it the remake in Q4 of 2023 or any of the DLCs that we have released, our quarterly revenue has improved quarter over quarter. More importantly, what I've discovered through analytics is that our DLC conversion, it sits at 54%. So if you think of in a different context, 1 in 2 ARK gamers will likely buy one of our DLCs. And this 54% conversion is very important to us. It helps us inform our future DLC release strategies and monetization. Historically, we have released full-size DLCs that include maps, new skins, new features, new items. It's a really massive DLC, downloadable content, right? Content that can be played up above the base game, on top of the base game. So how we think about the future is that, we will continue to develop the full-size DLCs, and plus bite-sized DLCs that require less development time, lower cost, and higher profitability. Now, with that, I'd like to pass it back to Heidi to go over our future growth strategies.
And again, something they don't mention there is, again, going back to that point, is the bite-sized DLCs are from modders. It's like, of course, it's the work of Studio Wildcard, but as well. But the bite-sized DLCs, Nakatus did Asterisk. Nakatus helped generate ASA $20.1 million. That is absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? And by the way, Studio Wildcard have offered Nakatus jobs before in the past, 100%. Nakatus prefers to work in his own sort of realm. But then at the same time, a lot of the other stuff, which they haven't shown a lot of the other sort of premium mods, because the premium mods do really well too. But look how well Asterisk really did. It seriously smashed it. So yeah, that was that there. They haven't actually shown any fantastic tame details either. So yeah, now they're sort of talking about growth, gaming through 2 distinctive channels. Again, I guess what they've got coming up for obviously Lost Colony. What else do we have? We're probably coming up quite closely to the ARK 2 stuff now, from what I saw on Twitter. But again, more stuff, just who cares about this boring stuff? Sorry if you do. But this is all operational, boring stuff that no one cares about. Okay, so I think we're coming up to the ARK 2 bit now, so let's get in with it.
It's all about staying focused and efficient while we're growing as well. Now, from a revenue standpoint, when we talk about product expansion, our biggest goal is to take the ARK franchise from just being a transmedia IP and turn it into a full-blown pop culture brand. We really believe ARK 2 is the key to make that happen. With ARK 2, We're blending the open world survival gameplay fans already love from ASE and ASA. But this time, we're layering in a rich story-driven narrative. That makes it going to help us to reach way beyond just survival game fans. Onto stablecoins.
Very interesting there. I mean, so they're saying that they're trying to go beyond survival. But so the thing that's really interesting is, like, I sometimes never really know if they know what they're talking about when they talk about ARK 2. Because it's still cross-platform and multiplayer modding support. I mean, this stuff is so outdated, this information. I mean, powered by next-gen Unreal Engine 5. I mean, all the stuff ASA now has is stuff that ARK 2 was meant to have. And it's just so outdated now. But, like we said, they're looking to go into so much more stuff. Music, merch. Merch is a thing that I'm surprised they've never properly done. Film and TV. We know, obviously... you know, we know that they have the animated series. We know that they are working on actual films with Vin Diesel. So they're wanting to turn this more into, like, they called it a pop culture icon. And I liked the idea of them trying to diversify ARK into different genres, you know, like what they're doing with the third person thing. They're trying to invite a whole new crowd of gamers to ARK who don't like the original version of ARK, and I don't think there's anything ever wrong with that. Sometimes taking a risk like that can really cause a game to fail, and there's always a big chance that that could happen. But I never will ever say to anyone, don't ever take a risk in life, because if you don't take risks, you'll never grow and you'll never make a change. So that's why I kind of back what they're trying to do with ARK 2 here. But then it also worries me that I know this is about financial stuff, but it's always, whenever you hear anything from Snail, it's about how they can make more money from it. And of course, that's what keeps ARK growing and stuff. But I want to hear more more detail. I know that's not coming from these people's side, but, about what they truly are excited about for the game and what they're going to make. They're saying it's more story-driven and stuff, which is exciting. But we really want the passion showed for this. And I really want ARK 2 to be good. I want it to do well, because the ARK community needs it. We've got some fantastic DLCs coming up. But to really kickstart a whole new life cycle in ARK, this needs to be good. Now, I don't really know if there's anything else ARK related in this call. We'll obviously go through it. This is the stablecoin, that we mentioned earlier, which I just couldn't care less about, to be honest. ARK franchise gamers, 54% lifetime paid DLC conversion. Is because we're such a dedicated community. That's why. And everyone gets so excited for the next DLC launch, and they don't actually bring in that many new players. It's mostly ARK players are like OG players. There are still lots of new players that come in, but it's very, very dedicated fan base. So that's why they say their conversion DLC rate is so good, because they don't need to build a relationship again with new players, because a lot of them are just OG players. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff they go into, and I think it was Bam, who was one of the YouTubers, that said they're now implementing something to do with like Web3 or something. It's stuff I can't talk on because I've not really got the information on it, but yeah, it's an interesting one. Lost Colony's coming up very soon, and then after Lost Colony, we've got a year of I'll call it ARK the Genesis year, because I mean we've also got Fjordur that year too. So we've got some giant maps within 2026. So that's really exciting stuff. And then obviously the opportunity to maybe for Wildcard to squeeze in Crystal Isles or Lost Island as well. It'd be great if they can do both, but I know they're really working hard on Genesis right now. So I know it'd be quite hard to be able to squeeze all of them in. That would be 5 maps in 1 year. But it would be fantastic if they can do it, because that will then complete ARK Survival Ascended as a whole with all the remastered maps. And then in 2027 will be the release of ARK 2. So it's an interesting one, guys, but thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, smash that like button, and I'll catch you in my next video very soon. See you guys then.